Okay, so this is a different setup. This is on Euro dollar from October 23rd, so from last week as well. And same idea on this. I want to talk about the overall order flow, market structure concepts to make sure that I've got those intact in my mind. And then I'll go into a couple of trade ideas to see if they make sense and are in line with your logic. So the swing pull here, this is the really like a daily pull. Actually, I'm sorry, more of a weekly really. The big green pull you've got here, the swing. So on that swing, you saw there was an SFP up here, and then it actually broke structure on the daily. So we've got this yellow downtrend here for the daily structure. We're on a 12-hour now. So on the 12-hour, there was a 12-hour boss up, and that came up and obviously mitigated this supply zone from the daily. And then it broke bearishly down on the 2-hour, as you can see right here. So that's kind of, this is back to the 12-hour now. That's kind of the high time frame view on this. So when I think of trades, I think of, okay, there could be a mitigation here of this supply. And if that's the case, then this 2-hour boss down is very significant, because that means that we've just mitigated this whole supply range and that our target is back down here. So that's one way to look at this from a high time frame perspective. Would you agree with that? The second way is looking at this 12-hour boss, which has equal lows right there. And you could say that that 12-hour boss just mitigated just something deeper in the discount zone of this whole giant range. And then it led to a significant boss. At 12 hours, a pretty significant boss up. So if I'm looking at that, then I would look at this here demand range from the 12-hour, and I could be looking at longs based on that. The two different ideas here, like from a high time frame standpoint, again, looking at the overall direction as down now because of this, or looking at, okay, this is demand and I should be looking for a long back up to here. Let's talk about those two different ideas from an order flow standpoint. What's more important? What should I be thinking about? Targets. What targets make more sense? All right, so if we haven't already, let's pause and talk about that. So moving on, I'm going to zoom forward to a trade that I did take based on this. So here's the high time frame. I'm going to drop down to the 45 minute. So here's the 45 minute, just a snapshot. In the purple, we've got the down pull from that 2-hour boss after mitigating the giant daily supply range up there. And it came into the 12-hour demand zone from what we just talked about, from this guy here coming up. And this is 45 minute. 45 minute was the highest that we had. So I'll just highlight this just so you can see it as well. So that's all 45 minute. Now, if we zoom down a little bit more, this is still the swing pull coming down. There's a 15-minute boss that happens right here. Let me highlight this. So there's a 15-minute boss that happens in this downtrend, and it comes from that 12-hour demand zone. So I saw it as important. So just to highlight that to make sure you can see it, there's this here. Hang on. Okay. So there's that 15-minute break of structure up. And it comes back and has a reconfirm down here. It forms 45-minute internal structure and then breaks up on the 45. So from a long standpoint, I could look at longs based on that. So for example, a long in here. Maybe price coming back into this 45-minute demand zone somewhere and forming a long. We don't have to get too specific on this specific trade, but more so just the general concept here, because there's two ways I could look at this. I could look at it from this long standpoint. Or, sorry, hang on one second. Or, there's also this. There's, again, the 45-minute swing pull in purple. Price broke up here on the 15, as I notated before. However, it comes up here and breaks 10-minute down. So you could argue that this 10-minute break of structure down is just continuing this purple 45-minute swing pull. So what happens on that? I looked at this as possibly its own pull now. And even though it does break up here, let me put this in, we'll leave it in blue. So I was thinking this could maybe be a mitigation of some kind of supply up here. And basically prioritizing the swing purple pull, and again, seeing this as, seeing this guy as, okay, this means our target is now back down to here. That makes sense. And the fact that it broke up over here on the 45, I did not see as that important or as a priority. So I was looking for shorts in this zone on low time frame. And it's actually what we get here. Go down to say the 5 here. So after that boss 10, price broke up on the 45. I'm getting a lot too many views here. Let me take this off. Okay, so it came up on the 45, but then over here there's a boss 3 and a reconfirm as well. We had a boss 3 and a reconfirm boss 3, which I took a trade right here thinking, hey, this is the first target, and if it gets through that, here's the second target. Now on this particular trade, there was an exit signal and I didn't take it. The exit signal was right on the 2-minute. Right here, there was a boss 2. And I think in hindsight, I would have exited based on that, but I did not. So we can talk about that a little bit, but more importantly, talking about the overall idea, the overall order flow, and if I'm getting too into the weeds here, or what you think on directions.